Hi guys, weekly outlook for the upcoming and now following week, which is going to be interesting because Donald Trump is going to be added into the Oval Office, if we might say. And he has big plans. He obviously kind of wants to continue allowing TikTok being used where there had been a bit of a public outcry, obviously. We see and we will see how the energy abundance is going to move forward. Donald Trump stated that energy is the most important, one of the most important topics during his tenure. And furthermore, we want to check out also what goes in markets, as obviously further volatility in terms of positive market sentiment had caused upside momentum to basically continue. Equities are starting to resume upside off interesting support levels from last week. Crypto markets, and let's start with Bitcoin, are moving to higher levels. Bitcoin is about to kind of break the recent high, the all-time high here. And it pretty much looks like the 120,000 level could be tested if this recent technical resistance pattern can be broken. There's a bit of a burden still. However, looking at it from this market perspective, we might say there could be still the upside going to be unleashed as the market timing recently shown, right? So we had the market momentum moving lower. It looked like we see maybe straight a continuation, bearish continuation towards the 70,000 level. Now the market momentum kind of remains positive and the upside could potentially be straight tested, which would obviously enable further positive sentiment in the Bitcoin market, which has a bit of a pull and pushing sentiment in also for other markets. XRP is about to break higher. Well, the market is kind of still at super high levels. I might say there should be quite a bit of caution being added. We are back to a major resistance area, and this was what we've seen in the past. The market has been divided by upside momentum in a way. However, the upside might continue at some point here. That from a technical perspective, a retracement seems to be feasible, what should be on the cards. And what we've seen now is the total return in market momentum from Solana. Solana yesterday was kind of really up and running. The market kind of broke to quite higher price levels when we look at it here from this market perspective. However, yesterday's hourly chart really pulled the market down. 278 down to 229. This is like for any FX traders, a ton of volatility here. The question now is like, is this going to be it, or will the market basically continue with further upside momentum? I might say the market for now could be ready to basically kind of retest this resistance area as a double top. And that's exactly how the market looks like fading at the moment, and shorter term charts would obviously kind of enable a bearish view to potentially continue as the market momentum here in this market, in this charting pattern looks ripe for a potential kind of corrective motivation here. So now political markets, political news. Are the markets so much positively impacted by just Donald Trump taking Oval Office, or is this the overall market sentiment? Let's dig in a bit deeper right now and check what the equity side of things tells us potentially. The S&P was back lower at the rising trend line. It has ever since broken to the upside. That was also kind of continued last week on Friday, where the market basically broke the resistance zone and is now about to look positively impacted. Last week continued and added positive sentiment here in the end, and this, from this trading perspective, would technically call that the market continues, maybe a couple of pips retracement here before the upside is going to be unleashed again further. In the Nasdaq, the situation might be slightly different. However, we have as well the same story. The market broke off the support level once, twice. Let's ignore this one and the little over and undershoot areas here, but the current market sentiment here might add positivity here as the upside momentum is going to look positive again if there would not be this major technical resistance pattern, and that's this pin bar candlestick. So when and if we want to trade the market from a technical perspective, no, I've just basically removed all the charting patterns. Anyways, if we want to trade the market from a technical charting pattern, we should kind of apply a sell stop just to be out below this area. And the market sentiment, well, it is positive, but it is at extreme high figures. So we can observe that the market momentum here looks set to be kind of at this double top, and potentially might fade somehow further with the market negativity kind of to be unleashed here somehow further. So the unleashing, the Nasdaq motivation here, kind of a bit overvalued, is crying out loud for some weakness. The Dow Jones again starting to appreciate again further, and those are all technical patterns which would all say the engulfing candlestick from the charting point of view here, weaker market movement, strong push to the upside. They would all call for upside momentum. So don't get me wrong here, from this continuation pattern, the market should be ready to strengthen further. The DAX has done the same story as well, all-time high again, and this recent technical pattern, that's so much for a technical pattern. Only if it's being broken, which we see on the DAX, the value should be taken into consideration and used for further market sentiment. So that's so much here for those markets. Cryptos up and running, the positive sentiment in general, positive energy also looking good for the equities side of things here. Let's dig into the economic news calendar. We got a couple of CPI data due this upcoming week, or this current week here. CPI from Canada this afternoon, claimant count change here in the morning UK time, but the data from Canada might be interesting because they could give and shed some light into the Canadian dollar, which had been extremely weak. And now we go here with the dollar against the Canadian. We can see the market is about ready potentially to break higher. Looking at these trend lines, now it looked like from some shorter term pricing pattern. Well, we're on the monthly chart, but this looks like an extreme high point. We've just broken here 140.70. Though, if we kind of dig a bit longer into the past, we can see that the market sentiment here all the way towards the all-time high, which was at 160-ish in 2001. So kind of quite some 25 years back. There is quite a bit of momentum still to be expected. So we might see a sort of zigzag pattern. The market might kind of weaken again and then potentially strengthen somehow further. Oops, that is happening here with the mouse. But this upside momentum looks still feasible, and the upside momentum here kind of would offer some motivation here, depending on how the dollar goes, obviously. Right? So the US dollar is and remains kind of rather strong. Looking at it from the euro against the Canadian dollar, the upside is also and can also be seen, however, with less positivity here. The market has not been kind of pushing to the upside. We see, if we compare the charts here from long-term charting patterns, it's more like a huge, messy, sideways price action pattern. So we got some recent resistance and support zones. If any of the zones here are going to kind of be retested, the upside might actually kind of happen as well. But in general, we see that it depends a bit more on the dollar and on the underlying strength potentially of the euro. Euro CAD looking in a way positive. However, dollar CAD, as we examined, looks much more stronger, maybe to do with the strength of the dollar. Speaking of which, what's the dollar index telling us? The dollar index has kind of reversed slightly. So weakness in the dollar index tells us that the US dollar against other currencies is going to weaken further. However, based on this market here, we could say that the upside might kind of continue. Maybe early days of this fresh week, the market might retrace slightly before the market momentum might be seen as taken over positively. So that's the momentum we see here right now. Upside here at and above the 109, 110 area might be due to continue with positive sentiment, positively speaking, ahead. So upside motivation here in the dollar index could be seen. How does it tell us anything for the euro? Well, the euro is about to maybe break to the upside. And now the question is, when Donald Trump takes over office, we had this in the past, strength of the dollar after the election, inauguration, dollar weakness. And that's what could fuel and boost stock markets further, if the dollar turns, or I would say remain, but turns weaker, then we could see that this market might kind of also change direction here. That's a re-inverse correlation, obviously, from the dollar index to the euro dollar. Upside motivation might be the key takeaway here in this market, leading to potential upside momentum here. So euro dollar up and running, the pound US dollar as well looking kind of quite positively here in a way, as the market had just simply retested the support zone. That's the zone we talked about in the past. Might be a kind of now ripe that the market is moving to higher levels, and the Australian dollar is gearing up steam as well. The Aussie in particular, obviously, as a risk on risk off guidance in regards to China as well. They had purchased lesser iron ore from Australia, by the way. So we have the export and the economic situation from China, comparing it with Australia, where the Australian dollar was influenced mostly here by the strength of the dollar. Whether this trend is going to change direction might be the question. However, shorter term charting patterns might suggest that another retracement, at least to the upside, is going to continue. Guys, precious metals, what's happening with silver? Well, the silver market looking kind of interesting. And we said last week, right? So after this resistance and the market now trading around the 50 moving average, there is some chances that the upside is going to kind of be unleashed again, and the upside momentum here in this market looks extremely positive. We see that this trend line, let's drive it slightly different here, has been already broken. So the market pushing higher, sideways doji candle, and now we might be up to the races. So the upside looking good in silver and equally good in gold. It might just be a matter of time when the market is going to really break the high points here. It would be kind of a triple top, double topish area here, and now the market looks like it's going to be ready to break higher. Look at this, right? So we have the high point retracement, and now the upside momentum. Ignore this Fibonacci pattern. The upside might continue here and might actually intensify strength above the 2,755 level. Another push to the upside is potentially going to happen. Guys, that's the take here so far for this week. Dollar Japanese yen, well, slightly weakening. Let's browse through some other assets here as well. The oil market looking kind of slightly toppish at the moment, but it might just be, since that's not an important trading zone, it might just be a matter of time where further upside momentum is going to follow through. And with that, guys, I would like to release you. Talk to you soon. Check out also our further videos, and happy to have you here on our channel. Thank you, guys. See you then. Bye.